Hi guys, and welcome to this new YouTube video. In today's video we will be discussing Bitcoin and the current state of Bitcoin, how I predicted this Bitcoin crash, we could say, to happen, because we already crashed about 20% again, and I predicted this complete crash to happen, and what is going to be next for Bitcoin. First of all, if we dive straight into it and look at the current chart on the daily time frame, we can see something very important, and that is that Bitcoin is trading inside of this ascending channel towards the upside. Some people say this right here is a bear flag, but that bear flag is invalidated because of this wick right here, of course. So it's not a bear flag, it's an ascending channel towards the upside. And usually these ascending channels are getting respected very well. And we can see that we have the higher low trend line right here. You can also already see my current preferred scenario for Bitcoin, and that is a last dip towards this higher low trend line right there and have a decent bounce towards the upside from off that point. So you can also see that we have a very important gray zone of support right here for Bitcoin, and we will be diving deeper into that, of course, as well. First, I want to show you how I predicted it. Right here on my Twitter, I made a tweet, I think it was about yesterday. So right here you could see that the current further dip on Bitcoin didn't happen, and I tweeted this about, let's say, 15th of April, so that's already 3 days ago, that this is my current scenario for Bitcoin, and so far it has been playing out very well. Also right here, this was when Bitcoin was trading around 41.2k. I predicted this Bitcoin flush, I should say, to happen, and that is also what we are currently seeing. So that is very nice, of course, but what went wrong? So first, we already know that we have this very big move towards the downside right here, and in this move towards the downside I shorted a lot of it as well, so that is very nice. But if we go on to the lower time frame, we can see that if we go onto the 1 hourly time frame right here, we see a lot of things, of course. So first of all, let's remove the Elliott waves, but let's just look at this triangle right here for Bitcoin. We can see that Bitcoin, after this impulsive move towards the downside right here, started forming a triangle. Inside of this triangle, we could also see that the bears were having the upper hand because the lower highs were more significant than the higher lows. So that was meaning that the bears were having the upper hand. We already broke out of this triangle, as you can see right here, and very important to see if you look at the triangle is to look at the volume of the triangle. And if we go into the 4 hourly time frame, we can see that the volume, when we were forming this triangle right here, was decreasing, which means that it was a valid triangle. On top of that, very important to see as well, if we go onto 1 hourly time frame, of course, we are currently retesting the triangle as resistance. So first we had support right here, and support right here. We broke through it with a very significant candle. And like you usually see, you retest the trend line of the triangle. We either reclaim it now or we get another rejection. And if we do, we could see further move towards the downside. So why is this also a very important triangle? Well, if we zoom out a little and we apply the Elliott waves. So right here, let's remove the price range. And if we look at an impulsive move towards the downside, you want to be looking at a 5-wave structure. So maybe it's better if we go to 4 hourly time frame. Yes. Let's remove the triangle for a second. And if we look at this current move towards the downside, we can see that we had the first impulsive move towards the downside right here. We had the first corrective move towards the upside right there. After the third impulsive move towards the downside, we were forming a triangle, and that is what you very often see. So after the second impulsive move right here towards the downside, you usually see a continuation pattern, and that is 9 out of 10 times in the form of some sort of a triangle, which also happened right now on Bitcoin, as you can see. So perfect Elliott wave count confluence. Beautiful to see, and we got a breakdown of the triangle, and we are currently retesting it as resistance. So that is the first thing that we have to take a look at, of course. If we look at the range that we were forming while forming the triangle, we can also see that Bitcoin right here, if we remove the Elliott wave, we can see that the value area high was offering massive resistance for Bitcoin. So very important for Bitcoin is not only to reclaim this trend line right here, but also reclaim the value area high right there. If we don't, more downside is very likely at this stage. So what if we then look once again at our preferred Elliott wave count? What is the measured price target of the fifth impulsive move towards the downside right here? If you want to measure the price target for that move, you want to take the impulsive move towards the downside right here. Take the trend line and put the trend line on top of the breakout of the triangle, which was about here. And you can see that our price target is approximately around $36,000, which is pretty funny in confluence with my preferred price target for this crash for Bitcoin as well. So right here you can see 36.5 towards 38k. So our technical price target is around 36k, but you have to realize that the price target of the fifth impulsive move towards the downside doesn't get reached 9 out of 10 times. So let's say we get our price target between 36 and 36.5k, which would be the end of this five impulsive move towards the downside for Bitcoin. So that is the first very important thing that we have to keep in mind, this Elliott wave towards the downside. Right now, if we look at some very important levels of support for Bitcoin, I want to switch them all on right here. First of all, let's take a look at the current range for Bitcoin. Why are we entering very important support? If we look at this range that has been forming since a drop-off right here around the 5th of January 2022, so that is already over 4 months, we can see that Bitcoin is right now reaching the point of control and also the value area low right here. Two key support levels if we look at the volume of the current range. We can also see that Bitcoin right now found support at a point of control, which is of course a very good sign, because that means that our levels of support are still getting respected very well. Right here we could also see that the point of control got front run a little bit, but from off the point we saw a nice increasement towards the upside. So right now Bitcoin is trying to find support there once again. On top of that, we also have the value area low. So two very important support levels that are very close to each other, and the value area low is also around the 38k level, which is very important. On top of that, we also, if we go onto the weekly time frame and we switch on the weekly levels, we can see that we have two very important weekly levels of support right here for Bitcoin. So right here we have a weekly level of support. This used to be a weekly level of resistance that right now is turning into support. And as you can see, if we go onto the 4-hourly time frame, Bitcoin front run the weekly level a little bit, but it bounced off the weekly level of support, as you can see. So very nice confluence with the weekly level on top of the point of control right here for Bitcoin. So that is very nice, and this means that we have some very strong levels of support right here with the point of control, weekly level of support number 1, value area low, and weekly level support number 2. On top of that, if we go onto the daily time frame, we can also see that we have a daily level of support very close for Bitcoin right here actually. So that is around $37,750. We also have a daily level of support. Then last but not least, if we remove the daily level and switch on the Fibonacci retracement tool, we can see that Bitcoin is currently bouncing from the golden Fibonacci ratio right here. If we measure this entire move towards the upside, we can see that the golden Fibonacci ratio is right here, and we are currently witnessing a bounce from off that level. So if we take all of these levels of support into consideration, we can see that this entire block right here is a very important block of support, with on top of that the ascending channel trend line right here. So we should see a decent bounce for Bitcoin from off this area. What would I be doing if I were you? I would be start scaling into some long positions inside of this entire block for Bitcoin. If you do, keep in mind that we have our 3 previous lows right here for Bitcoin. So it could also be a scenario that we go below these lows right here. So maybe we go below that low and grab the liquidity that is right over here for Bitcoin. And if we grab that liquidity, that we then move towards the upside. So take that into consideration for your stop loss, of course. So my preferred move right now is to hold on to some short positions that I have. I already took some massive profits, of course, and I'm right now currently looking to build my long swing trade position inside of this gray zone, and on top of that, the ascending channel trend line right here. Beautiful, beautiful support levels, and watch out for the sweep of these lows right here. So put your stop loss maybe around 35.5k, just to be sure, because I do expect a very strong bounce from here for Bitcoin. And for the ones that are also interested in EMAs, I personally don't really use them, but I use them sometimes as extra confirmation. If we go onto the monthly time frame, we can see that we also have the monthly 20 EMA right here around 38.7k for Bitcoin. If we go onto the weekly time frame, we also have the weekly 100 EMA right here for Bitcoin around 36.8k. Beautiful, beautiful support as well. So keep all of those levels in mind for Bitcoin, and remember, make sure to use correct risk management and make sure to use a correct stop loss. And if you do, you should be fine, and we should see a very decent bounce from off this area for Bitcoin. So thank you for watching, guys. If you like this YouTube video, make sure to subscribe and like this YouTube video, of course. Also make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links are in the description. And make sure to check out the open Discord, of course, and the VIP channel already has about 70 members that are profiting very, very nicely lately. So make sure to check that one out. And then I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.